I burned 2,000 calories today. I left my food in the oven for too long. Today, I'm going to recap a 1995 action crime film called Crying Freeman. The film starts with Imu, on her own in her residence, jotting down thoughts in her journal. It's the day she turns a year older, and for the first time in 2 decades, she's marking this day solo. Previously, she shared her life with someone, but later found out that individual was a criminal. While painting an outdoor scene on a hill in San Francisco, Imu sees a man with a firearm pursuing others. The man named Yôko comes up to her, offering his hand in a gesture of friendship. Next, we see Imu alone at her place, commemorating her birthday. She's been on her own for 20 years since her parents died. She discloses that Yôko, also known as Freeman, has helped her feel less isolated. In a meaningful act, she uncorks a bottle and scatters its contents over a painting of Yôko that she created. Later, Yôko is at an airport, about to board a plane. He finds something red in his luggage, referring to it as clay and calling himself Porter. An air hostess buys his story. In a vehicle, he reveals 2 hidden firearms in the clay. Ko, sitting up front, wonders why Yôko still carries 2 guns. Yôko aims one at Ko, stating he needs to return home. Ko mentions he has no home to go back to. We learn that the Sons of the Dragons, a Chinese gang, are satisfied after killing the son of their adversary, Shimazaki, who has resorted to violence in San Francisco after his child's death, posing a danger to them. Now, Shimazaki is in Vancouver, exactly where he needs to be. At the Vancouver City Hall, Chief Randall, along with Detectives Netah and Forge, are in a meeting. Chief Randall informs them that Detective Netah will now lead Forge. The scene is set for the ensuing events. Chief Randall meets Shimazaki in front of his group, the Hakushin Society. He explains that Shimazaki represents the Japanese community and wants to minimize violence. Chief Randall also introduces Detective Netah. Shimazaki stands up and discloses that his son was slain on August 4th in San Francisco, and Imu, a local of that city, witnessed the crime. The killer, now aiming for witness Imu, is someone Shimazaki urges the group not to obstruct. Netah gives Forge a note, directing her to seek out Imu, who then leaves as told. Shimazaki unveils that his son's murderer is presently in their city. This assassin, associated with the Chinese group, the Sons of Dragons, is a lone powerful figure who prefers to operate independently. The situation grows tense as the threat to Imu becomes more evident. While those at the meeting ridicule the scenario, Chief Randall emphasizes the seriousness of the matter. He shares the deep history of the Sons of the Dragons, stretching back 1,400 years. He recounts how, after the Manchus overthrew the Chinese emperor and instilled fear, 108 militant Buddhist monks rebelled. Though the Manchus defeated almost all these monks, the 5 who survived founded the Society of the Sons of the Dragons. These monks became protectors of the Chinese, battling against tyranny and injustice. Among them is the infamous killer Freeman, rumored to carry the dragon's spirit. He is considered immortal and can appear as Chinese, American, Japanese, or any other race, but always maintains the dragon's essence, being a supreme assassin. Shimazaki gives them a 48-hour deadline to locate Freeman, the assassin. Meanwhile, Yôko, masked, initiates an assault on Shimazaki and his guard. Concurrently, Ko aims at Shimazaki's cars from a high vantage point. Yôko confronts them, unleashing a flurry of bullets, ultimately leading to Shimazaki's downfall. With Ko alongside, Yôko makes a quick getaway from the area. Imu catches a glimpse of him and recognizes who he is. Detective Forge tries to follow, but ultimately decides not to shoot. This hesitation leads to an explosion, which helps Freeman to slip away. To Detective Forge's astonishment, Imu calls out Yu's name, hinting at a link between her and the notorious assassin, casting doubt on her involvement with him. In the car, Ko expresses contentment, believing the Yakuza will now think carefully before entering China, assuming they have retaliated for their losses. Yôko, on the other hand, leaves the car with a knife, climbs over a wall, and enters a building. He finds his way to a room filled with his own artwork. Later that night, Imu is interrogated by Netah and Forge about Freeman's true identity. Due to a lack of solid evidence, Netah asks Forge to leave her be. Forge then informs Imu about Shimazaki's 40-hour ultimatum. Failure to find Freeman within this period might trigger a gang conflict in the city, risking many lives. As the deadline looms, the tension in the city escalates. Imu apologizes and starts to leave, but Netah warns her that if a Chinese assassin reveals themselves to you, it's likely a sign of impending danger. Forge takes her home, giving her an alarm system that can call for assistance in 20 seconds if needed. The police keep watch in her garden throughout the night. Imu, reluctant to let them inside due to the traumatic memory of her parents' deaths there, agrees to let them stay outside. She tells Forge she can't help or protect her and goes into her house. After a bath, Imu notices that a portrait of Yo is on fire. Confronting Yo with a knife, she realizes all her paintings have been ruined by the fire, intensifying their already strained relationship. However, she seduces Yo, and they both undress and become intimate on the bed. In the midst of their encounter, the alarm she was given slips from her grasp. Outside Imu's home, Netah runs into Kimi Hanada and quickly reaches out to Forge for backup. Inside, Imu and Yo are in the midst of a passionate encounter, but they're startled by the sound of glass shattering. Yo springs into action, positioning himself strategically above the door. As two men barge into Imu's room, Yo ambushes them from behind, effectively dealing with both of Ryuji's henchmen. But then Ryuji himself steps forward, ready to fire at Yo. Ko intervenes just in time, hurling a knife and tossing a gun to Yo. A fierce gunfight ensues, ending with Ryuji's demise. Amidst the chaos, Imu is accidentally shot. Yo rushes to her, concerned, while Ko urges him to finish her off. Yo, however, chooses not to harm Imu. He lifts her up and takes her with him. Shortly after, Kimi arrives and unexpectedly kisses Ryuji, adding a surprising turn to the already dramatic scenario. Meanwhile, Yo and Ko are embroiled in a tense debate over Imu's fate. Ko threatens to expose their secret to their clan if Yo refuses to kill Imu. Defiant, Yo rejects this demand and insists that Ko should instead take Imu to a hospital. As Imu regains consciousness, Yo advises her to remember the name Hinomura if she ever needs to find him. This infuriates Ko, who points a gun at Imu, but Yo steps in to stop him. 3 days on, Imu finds herself recovering in a hospital under the watch of Netah and Forge. During a visit, Mery and Imu hatch a plan for Imu to escape. Netah, sensing something off, sends Forge to check, only to discover Mery posing as Imu in her bed. As Imu and Mery flee, Netah and Forge catch on and pursue Imu's vehicle. Abruptly, their escape is thwarted by a Yakuza-operated truck, which collides with Imu and Mery's car in a catastrophic crash. Forge is trapped in the wreckage, and despite Netah's frantic efforts to save her, the car explodes, claiming Forge's life. In the aftermath, Imu begins to suspect that she is the real target, as Yo had sent someone to find her. Overwhelmed by grief and confusion, Imu decides to leave everything behind and set out for Hinomura. Over in Shanghai City, Ryuji's crew initiates an assault on a soy processing plant under the protection of the Sons of the Dragons. This attack reveals that Ryuji and his members are very much alive. It's a strategic move from Hanada to send a direct challenge to the Sons of the Dragons. Ryuji is openly declaring hostilities, with his focus firmly on Freeman. After traveling for 3 days, Imu at last finds her way back to Yo. In their conversation, Yo reveals his enigmatic background. He was once Yo Hinomura, a renowned ceramic artist, visiting New York for an art showcase. There, he encountered a roll of undeveloped film. Driven by curiosity, he processed the film in his hotel's bathroom. The images were disturbing, showing the brutal torture and killing of a man with dragon tattoos, eerily reminiscent of the tattoos Yo would later bear. His probing into these images, however, led him into a dangerous situation. Before he could leave his hotel, Yo was sedated and kidnapped by a covert group called the Sons of the Dragons. This enigmatic organization manipulated Yo's mind through specialized acupuncture, directing his actions without him realizing it. As Yo became entangled in the affairs of the Sons of the Dragons, he undertook his first assignment, to eliminate Mafia leader Antonio Rossi. This mission, however, took an unexpected turn. As Yo executed the task, he involuntarily cried, which led to his moniker Crying Freeman, a name that would become notorious among assassins. Ko updates Yo about Ryuji's gang attacking the soy plant in Shanghai and their open challenge to the Sons of the Dragons. Initially, Imu attempts to dissuade Yo from going to Shimazaki's funeral, but ultimately persuades him of its importance. Yo, accompanied by Ko, heads to the funeral near Tokyo, intending to confront Ryuji. At the funeral, Netah is present too. Simultaneously, Yo and Ko manage to apprehend Mr. Dogaki. Influenced by Yo, Dogaki contacts Ryuji, luring two of Ryuji's men. Dogaki announces that Yo is now his leader, and Ko seizes the moment to express his gratitude before eliminating him. Subsequently, Netah confronts Ryuji directly, without prior discussions with anyone, accusing him of being the main suspect in the killing of 16 individuals at the soy factory. Netah discloses that it was Ryuji who orchestrated Shimazaki's son's trip to San Francisco, a fact that piques the interest of many. Ryuji introduces Netah to his spouse, Kimi, and acknowledges that he is a law enforcement officer. The trio press Netah for details regarding Imu's clandestine entry into Tokyo using a counterfeit passport. Later, Netah sneaks after Kimi to her quarters and is on the verge of kissing her when a photographer captures this moment, catching him off guard. Meanwhile, Yo and Ko meet with Ryuji, whose suspicions are aroused upon seeing them, prompting him to aim a gun at them. However, Ryuji's suspicion turns to trust when Yo doesn't react as anticipated, leading Ryuji to believe they are allies. In a covert rendezvous, Kimi and Netah share a heated moment in a closet. Amidst their closeness, Kimi reveals a startling truth. The Shimazaki family was set up by the Hanadas for elimination, facilitating the Hanada's takeover of the clan. Concurrently, Yo and Ko are executing their plan to eradicate the entire clan, but a surprising twist occurs. Just as Ko is about to kill Yo for his alleged treachery, Ryuji steps in and fatally shoots Ko. Shortly after, a massive explosion engulfs the entire area, claiming Ryuji's life. Yo heads back to his residence to gear up for a conclusive battle. He rigs his place for destruction and arms himself for a confrontation with Netah, Kimi, and her followers. Despite injuries inflicted by Netah, Yo manages to defeat the followers and overpowers Netah. In a last-ditch effort, Yo stabs Kimi near her heart. In return for her life, Kimi vows not to chase after him and Imu any longer. With this pact established, Yo and Imu leave the scene. However, as they are leaving, Netah tries to ambush them from behind, but Kimi promptly eliminates him. Finally, Yo and Imu escape the chaos, speeding away on a boat into the sunset. If you enjoyed this video, don't be shy to hit the like button, and if you disliked it, hit the dislike button twice, just to be sure. It would be best if you watched the whole movie. Thank you very much for watching. Please subscribe for more videos like this.